started the session.
Okay.
Can you show me the flow?
Yeah, sure. Here we are converting CSV to XML format. So I
Okay.
have created a file input node and compute node to convert, and the file output node, it's a destination. Okay, and so in compute node, what I have created is so I am making making a call because I want to have to copy all the headers.
All right.
Then I'm creating a set output row.xml and a c.record.name equals input root.dfdl.csv format.record.name.
Okay.
So
Some map.
yeah, mapping.
Right.
So name and subject. So that is what.
What's the you said that during serialization you get some error. So
During
you know what are the
serialization,
symptoms that you have noticed?
I didn't get any error. So I will show you that.
Where do you expect the error to be
So
occurring?
I saw that the breakpoint, the flow is actually reaching till this breakpoint. Then after that,
Right.
it is going back to this file input node. Then it
Mm-hmm.
is reaching back to the MQSA backout
Mm-hmm. Okay.
folder. Yeah.
So the data has been rolled back. You
Yes.
have connected MQ output node, but the message does not land in MQ output node. It
Yeah.
instead goes to a backout terminal, backout
Yes.
folder.
Yes.
So let's talk about exception handling and how do we understand what's going on. Now
Yep.
in dev environment, you will connect um, a few. You can take this into a debug mode and see what's reason for error. But in prod, you should not be able to do that. So you need some logic to capture error details. So
Okay.
how would you capture that error details in this case? What nodes are you can use to capture error details without taking this flow into debug?
I think these two flow. I mean,
Uh, so for capturing errors, you'll have to connect the catch terminal to some nodes that will capture details of what the error was, such as
okay.
DFTL parsing error or the queue is not available, that kind of an error.
Okay.
So you'll have to capture exception list.
Mm-hmm.
To capture exception list, what are the options available to us? Can do that using a trace node.
Trace node. Okay.
Yeah. So if you use a trace node, you can um, log those information into a file, or you can log that into error log. Let's go to my YouTube channel. I'll show you a video which you can use.
Yeah.
For the error that you are facing, you can quickly identify the problem. It would mostly be a DFTL parsing error, but
Okay.
I want to show you the options which you have so that you
Okay.
can solve errors in production.
Okay.
The information that we want to capture when investigating an error is the input message. For that, you need the source file, and then you will also need exception list. Now,
Okay.
exception list gives you information as to where the error occurred, what is causing the error,
Mm-hmm.
type trace, code to block trace. Yes, TRACE.
User trace.
How to use trace nodes? Yes, not user trace. The second video.
Yeah, this one, right?
Correct. Have you used trace nodes before?
Not really. So yeah, not really.
Okay. There are multiple modes in which the node can be used. Let's skip ahead and see what three different modes we have. So in this, we are writing information into console file. A console file will be available in the execution group of the execution groups folder.
Okay.
So that would be var MQSI and then broker name and then EG name. In this case, it is C program data and then IBM, and the remaining folder names will be the same.
Okay.
So
The
for
trace.
that,
Okay.
yes. So there, what you saw is previously what you saw was the use of uh, Java console logging information. So it
Okay.
was not trace node, it was
Mm-hmm.
Java logging something into the system.
Okay.
Here, trace node to capture information into user trace file. Now, for accessing user trace, you'll have to execute the commands mqsa read log
Mm-hmm.
and broken name, EG name, and then give a path for the user trace XML file.
Okay.
Similarly, you'll have to use a MQSA format log because that XML will not be human readable.
Okay.
It will be very confusing. So that is why I have used uh, converted that into a TXT file or a log file.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Next option is you can define, instead of using user trace on the screen. Now you see that you can define a particular folder path where you want to write that log information. Here I
Okay.
have written pattern as hello users. Records are written into this file, and I have given the pattern as local environment colon dollar and local environment. So
So what is
here
that? Yeah. Sorry.
dollar indicates the variable that you want to write into the file.
Okay.
You were asking something?
Yeah. So I'm asking the same. So local environment, dollar, local environment. So how do we know that? So this is the one we have to mention over there.
Environment, local environment, and input root, output, the root tree. So properties, MQMD, MQRFH2, and then XML and SC. These are the some of the variables that you can write. So
Mm-hmm.
from so like that, if you want to capture information as to so in this case, HTTP reply node gives you information about HTTP reply identifier and some more information as to what the path invoked is. So if you want those kind of information, you can use local environment.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say there was an error, and if you want to capture the error information, you will use a tree called exception list.
Okay.
Okay. And if you want to capture the input message, you will say root, ROOT.
Mm-hmm.
If you say that, uh, you will capture the full entire message. Let's say if you want to capture the input, you are using a file input node. So a file input node will have a file name and a folder path which it read the data from.
Yeah.
So in that case, if you want to capture file name and the folder name, you can use a local environment, a path within the local environment called local environment slash file.
Okay.
So the mode in which you, there are three modes in which you can use uh, a trace node. One is destination would be a file, and this the screen shows destination as file,
Mm-hmm.
and the other one was destination user trace, and next you have destination error trace.
This one or
Now this is about how do you what information you see when you capture information into a user defined explicit file path. So
okay.
that explicit file path is C temp something, and the
Mm-hmm.
variables captured are request identifier, as I told you. That's from
Mm-hmm.
the HTTP path, HTTP request identifier. So
Okay.
scroll back.
And the trace node we can mention anywhere, right? Anywhere with the node or
You can connect multiple trace nodes in a message flow. You can connect it at the catch terminal, at the out terminal, any place that you want, you can connect that.
okay.
And you can keep it disabled and only enable it when you want to capture some information into your, let's say, it's like you want a debug mode.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Okay.
want to capture information into a debug information into a file. then you can switch it on. If you don't want to capture information, you want to save some performance, then you can keep it disabled. When you go
Okay.
to web user interface, next
Mhm.
to your execution group, you'll have a setting which says enable trace nodes, start trace nodes, and stop trace nodes.
Oh, in here in execution group or there, right? So in web user interface.
Web user interface.
Okay. Okay.
I
Fine.
don't think we'll see it over here. It will be
Mhm.
available in the browser, the web user interface.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
All right. So go back to the video. I want to show you this one, the error trace. So we saw the two options. One was file trace and then user trace. The third mode, which is error trace, will be available. Mm, Scroll forward. Yeah,
So
scroll forward
file trace, user trace, then what else?
and see local error log. This is the third mode. Here you see that the error information is available
Mm.
in a Windows error log
Okay.
event viewer.
In event viewer, right?
Correct. So, based on what operating system your company uses, that
Yeah.
information can be stored into.
Correct.
Do your
Yeah.
does your organization use Windows?
Yes.
Hmm. In that case, you will have information in this one, event viewer.
Event viewer. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay.
So we got to know the three different modes in which there are user trace, error trace, and then file trace can be used. So let's go back to your flow and implement the trace in your flow.
Okay. Fine. So three type of traces will be there. That is file trace, user trace, and error trace, right?
The destination
So
modes.
yeah. Does okay. So these three we are using the local environment, dollar local environment, or a different.
You can write whatever variable that you're interested in. So if you want to capture information about the file path, the file name, you can write local environment. If you want the input message to be written, you can write root. If you want the exception details to be captured, you can write that. If you want all of these information, you can write uh, what is that? All three variables, one after
Mhm.
the other, and everything will be captured.
Okay. Okay. Fine.
Now add that trace node. Right click and say add node.
Yeah.
Trace.
So
No,
trace after
connect
that.
the cache terminal of not there. The cache terminal of file input node will have exception list generated after it and an error occurs.
Cache
So file
terminal, right?
input node, mm, file input node, cache terminal, and connect a trace node to also the failure terminal. Here, correct. So in case we drop a file which is not valid CSV, that parser error will capture from the failure terminal into the trace node. No, you don't have to put another trace. You don't have to put another failure. Just connect file input nodes. What are the different terminals that we have? We have out, we have catch,
We have
we have
failure,
failure.
we have out, we have end of
Hmm,
data, we have catch. So failure
correct.
also I have to connect to the trace.
Yes,
Okay.
that's it. Now go click on the properties of trace node and we will set
Okay.
the patterns. Change the destination mode from user trace to file.
Okay. Oh, these
Next,
are the
provide a
things,
file
right?
path.
So you user trace, file trace, and local error log, right?
Correct.
Yes, file path.
Mm. Now what do we need? We need exception list. So write dollar
Hmm.
and if you want local environment, you can do that.
Which one I should do as per this?
Uh, for this, you need exception list. So for put a flower bracket, open a flower bracket, and write exception list
After dollar, right?
after dollar.
Okay.
On the next line, also write local environment. We don't actually need that here. Just for the sake of demo, we'll show it to you. Within dollar and flower brackets.
Dollar in floor bracket. Again, the local environment, right?
Yes. So the first local environment that you wrote is a string character, and the second local environment that you wrote within the flower bracket is a pattern that gets replaced with the actual value within the local environment.
Okay. So it's just okay. So like this, or do I need to
You can
mention
write
any
ABC. You
or
can write
anything, right? Okay.
ABC. Yes.
Okay. Okay, fine.
So we have written down local environment and
Exception
this.
list and local environment. Yeah.
So you can deploy this and test it. I'll try to figure out is it flower packet or something else from my laptop.
Yeah.
You can deploy and test. To figure out what's the actual pattern of trace node, you can either go to IBM's knowledge base website and then look at the examples, or in my case, what I do is I go to GitHub and look at one of the examples that I created,
Okay.
which is easier.
Okay. It is taking too much time.
I think you have enabled debug mode and the flow is not completed, has not terminated. So cancel this and
Okay,
switch off
fine.
the debug.
Okay. No. No, it's not in. Okay,
Okay.
another one thing.
Why do I see a green arrow mark in the test execution group? Right click over there.
Oh, here, right?
Hmm.
But why it's
Just say
suddenly
refresh. Just say refresh and the error mark will go away.
Oh yeah, it's
So
gone.
it was in debug earlier, and then now it has refreshed
Okay.
and the debug has the breakpoint and everything has gone away.
Okay.
Deploy.
Configurations failed to be processed successfully. Unable to process the initial configuration as a user. Why? Don't know. Syntax and SQL. So any error is there?
Yes, scroll down and let's see the full error.
Oh, sorry.
Click on details.
Syntax error keyword environment, the token cost, syntax error content of SQL expression node around the line and column 2.27 then.
So where have you written environment? Let's go to your trace node.
I think trace space is not required, or
In local environment, you should not use local space environment. It is one single word.
where in first or second?
The first one is only a string, so you can write ABCD over it, does not matter. The second one, which is a pattern, you should not write space.
Okay.
Environment is another tree. The different trees that we have are root, environment, local environment, and exception list. So deploy now and let's see what you get.
Okay. So I should go in debug mode, isn't it?
No, the reason why we use trace node is so that we don't have to use debug mode.
Oh, okay. try.
What's the polling period? Oh, I think it's a very small period, 5 seconds or so, and it has
Yeah.
picked up. And go to your trace folder and see what's the error that you get.
Okay. Nothing came.
Which means no errors have occurred. So go to the output folder and see if a file has been generated.
Oh, it's there. How?
Uh, we tried to create an error, but it's gone through successfully.
Yeah. I don't know. Previously, it was actually it went to backout queue. I don't backout this one folder.
Uh-huh. Now let's try and generate an error in your flow. So for that, go to your flow, modify it, and say use a throw node. Right click, add node, throw, add node, throw.
Throw
Yes,
node. Yeah.
yes. Connect that to after the file output terminal.
Failure
Out,
only, right?
out,
Oh,
out.
okay.
Yes. So what will happen in this case is an error will be generated after we write the information into a file. The file gets rolled back and click on the properties of error node and say basic message text is something. ABC, write some text such as we are testing out trace node behavior. That's it.
Mm.
Now deploy and test.
But there is no error, right? Then how it will throw?
It will generate an error. This is a user defined error.
How
This
we define user defined error, because it's just a node, right? So we are not passing any error files, right? Then how it will be?
the different kinds of error is one is system generated error and the other one is user generated error. So in system
Uh,
errors, what happens is let's say the when you connect to a output terminal of a MQ and that queue is full or the queue does not exist. In these cases, the system generates an error and the error in other cases when the user wants to create an error within his application, he can use this error node, sorry, this throw node,
mm,
or he can also use a statement in ECL called throw user exception. When he uses these three keywords within ECL module, then also a user exception will be generated. All
mm-hmm.
right. So
But
and then
but
he
we have to
provides.
write some condition, right? So then only it should I mean throw some error, right?
In this case, it is there is no condition. The condition is it will create error for all messages. So if the message travels through uh, file input, compute, file output, and it successfully lands in the file output folder, if there was a success for file output folder, then in that case, create a exception is what we are saying because you have connected what you have connected out terminal of file output node to throw terminals input.
Yeah.
So when will the error occur? The error occurs when the message flows through the input node, then compute node, then output node, and then this error occurs because of the way that we have connected it.
Okay.
Deploy and test.
Yeah. Deployed.
Test now.
Same file we can take. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, okay. That's already formats. Copy.
Now look at the trace folder.
So if it is throw node is there, the throw will generate an error in trace node only.
It will generate it will not generate in trace node. It will generate an exception list. An exception list is a message tree within IIB, which will what
It's,
happened?
it's not
No
here.
error logs. Huh? Okay. So except it will generate a error. It will generate an exception list. Throw node will generate an exception list within the IIP runtime's message tree called exception list, and to store those values, such as what is the reason for error, what is the description of the error, and the location where the error occurred. So these information. This
So
could be an old file. This could be uh, the previous file that we generated at 8:55. I don't think
no,
this is the current file.
no, this is the same file. I mean, just now I passed the file, right? So the same file only.
Okay, delete it.
Yeah, sure.
I think you have opened it with some Excel. Okay,
No, no.
that's deleted. Now push another file into the input.
Yeah.
Okay. Now see in the output folder.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. We try to create an error and capture the information into the logs. Yeah. Error is not generating. We try to generate an error using throw node. That also is not occurring.
That's
So let's
some error is there. Don't know.
I have
But
deployed this into multiple execution groups.
yeah, let me see what kind of format it is. Actually, I'm expecting XML format, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, XML format.
All right. Good. Okay, let's see with this that this application is deployed into multiple execution groups, and one of those execution groups is picking up the data. Expand default execution group
Default execution group. Yeah.
is the same message available there as well. No, right?
No.
Message. Okay, let's take this application to debug and see. Have you deployed into test after we made the changes for the node at the
Yes.
throw
Yes.
node?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, then let's see what happens. Take this into debug mode.
Okay. So I should add all breakpoints or
Yeah, do that.
and test node launch debugger. Okay. Finished.
Okay, okay.
What happened?
Go to before you start the debug mode.
Hmm.
Go to the trace nodes properties. Click on
Okay.
yes.
Sorry. Trace node properties.
Yes, and
Yeah.
see. Yes, you have given a folder path, right?
Hmm.
D. Let's learn IIB, and then you gave the folder path
Hmm.
of where you want to write the information.
Yeah.
Yes, actually supposed to give a file path.
Oh, file
Okay.
path only.
Yes. So you
No.
put a slash, backward slash, and write mytrace.log,
Um.
something like that. Backward slash mytrace.
The, oh, the trace file we have to write, right?
Yes, you have to give the path of a name, the name name of
Okay.
a file.
It's what kind of TXT
TXT,
only, right?
TXT. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it will generate a file itself there.
No, it will not generate it automatically. You will have to put the name and then it will create a file.
Okay.
So when the file name is given, we'll do it. So let's stop the debug mode and deploy this again. Terminate
Terminate.
the debug session.
Do you want to open this perspective now? Yes or no?
No. It is asking whether you want to move from integration development perspective to debug perspective. So for that, we don't want debug perspective right away. What
Okay.
we need is to terminate the session, debug session. How will you do that? You'll click on the execution group and say stop debug
Terminate debugger,
execution
right?
group. Yes. So now that's
So
done.
yeah, so do we need, okay, so instead of going into debug mode, we can run again and we'll see the files are coming into the trace mode,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
Okay.
Our main intention was that we don't use
The
the
debug
debug
mode.
mode because we cannot do that in production.
Okay,
So
cool.
you'll have to deploy the flow again because you have changed the properties. Have you done that?
Sorry.
We change the properties of
Yeah.
then we'll have, if you have changed the properties, you'll have to deploy again.
Oh yeah. True.
Deployment is successful.
Yeah.
We can drop an input file into that folder and let's expect an error to be generated. And let's go see the error trace.
Yeah, my
Yes.
trace. I think it's nothing. Hmm.
So the information that you see here are the first we wrote about exception list.
Exception list, yeah.
Yes, the exception list is telling you
Which one is exception list here? So the first,
first.
okay, oh, so here, right? Okay.
Mm,
EMQ root, isn't it?
correct. So it is giving you it is telling you the user exception has occurred. User exception is thrown by a throw node, and it is of type text, which has the value testing out trace node behavior. So it will give you the flow name, it will give you the node name, uh, and many other things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is the information that we want to see? So that reason, the user-defined text that's available there. And if you had, if the reason was something else such as DFTL parsing exception, then it will come automatically. So you will see what node, what field, and what data type is creating issue. So in the
Okay.
same case, you can see without using throw node, whenever an exception list is generated by use of a trace node, you can capture information about exception list, the reason for error, where it occurred, and why it occurred.
Mm-hmm.
After this, you see something called as a local environment. So within the local environment, you can see the name of the input file and the name of the input directory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes. And some other details regarding the file, timestamp and others.
Okay, so this is a file like that, right? So if some errors there, so it will show after this, right? So somewhere here, right?
Correct.
Okay. So then can I
Let's
create
try
one
and
error there?
generate an. Let's try and generate uh, what kind of an error we want, a parsing error.
Yeah, I
So
will remove
no, don't
something.
modify the code. Instead of don't modify the code. Instead of that, we'll put an XML file into the input directory.
XML file into the input direct. Okay, fine. Yeah.
A CSV parser will not be able to parse the XML contents.
Yeah, true. So every
Based
time it will see every time the error comes, it will extend or it
okay.
will
Yeah.
replace or what to do?
It will not replace, it will append.
Okay. I'll take.
So in this case, let's put a file. Show me how your DFTL is created. What is the format of a DFTL? And from that, we will try to generate an error.
So CSV format. See.
It doesn't. It's not really necessary if you put a XML file
Yeah.
and it should create an error. That's not really true,
Yeah.
because let's say your CSV only has one field and one line. So in that case, the entire XML will be considered as one field within a CSV. So
Mhm.
here I can see that record is unbounded and it has two fields in it.
Yeah.
So what you do is create a text file
Mhm.
or open that single.csv and we will edit that.
Okay.
Put a comma and say you need a few more fields such as maths and science.
No,
Hmm.
here, I mean, only two are expecting, right? So we'll add some
Yes.
more, right?
If you add that, it should create an error. So add something. Yeah, that's it. Save
Yeah.
and push this file into the input folder.
Yes.
Let's see what errors we capture.
Whether it come or not. Okay.
This could be the previous file.
I think.
Open this notepad. Refresh. Yes.
Okay.
Scroll to the bottom and
So
see
this
what's
is
the.
okay. So here it should show that error, right? So in exception list.
Uh-huh. So what's happening in this case is scroll to the bottom. Yes. It
Nothing.
has read the file and it has processed successfully.
How
So in
come?
this case, the property what you have chosen on the file input node is on demand. Is it?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. True.
Okay. Now go to your DFTL file and click on test parse model and give your input file path.
The one which I heard it, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. This one.
Click on OK. Yes.
Sparse successfully. No, default parser error.
What is the error that it is saying? It has found unexpected data at offset 16. All right. That's good. Now you have set the parse mode as on demand. Now let's change that to immediate.
So you're saying the parse model is on demand. That's the reason it is not showing any error.
Correct.
So what we need to change then? Um,
Go to file input node. I mean, yes, go to the message flow and then file input node. In this compute node properties, go to compute node.
okay.
Within the eSQL, you would see,
In
open the
eSQL.
eSQL. Yes, go to eSQL.
Hmm.
You have used the properties record.name and record.subject.
Yeah.
When you do that, it is not generating any parser exception
Okay.
because all the value that it needs is already available there for some reason.
Okay.
Next, what we need to do is let's change the parser mode to immediate on the file input node.
Okay.
Go to your input parse options. Yes. On demand, change this to
Immediate.
immediate. Mm. And take away the throw node. We don't need the throw node anymore. Yeah. And save, deploy, and test.
So the same file. Yeah.
Same file. We're expecting an error to be generated during parsing,
Correct. Yeah.
and we need the information as to what the error was during parsing.
Mhm. Oh,
So it is telling you
see
a
here,
DFT error
unexpected.
occurred.
Yeah, unexpected data found at offset 16 after
Mhm.
parsing completed. So after parsing completed means it completed till here, right? I mean like, see, after it's completed till maths, then science, when they parse, it is showing some error, right?
It's not like that. Offset 16 is go to your input file and do a control L and look for offset number 16. I'll explain after that.
I mean the input file, the data, right?
Mhm. Go to input file, notepad control L.
Control L. Sorry,
Oh, sorry.
Control G.
Control G. Yeah.
Yeah.
And select offset and type 16. So offset 16 comes to the second line's first character. Okay.
Here.
So that would be Matthew after Jeffin in English.
Yeah.
So that means the CSV file tried to parse the second line, and in the second line there was an error.
Okay.
So it what is it? What did the error say? It tried, it completed parsing, and then error occurred at 16. So on this line, it was expecting two fields. Instead, it found three.
Okay.
So it does not know how to say that. It does not know I need only two fields, but you gave me three. It
Okay.
says at this line there was an error, and it
Okay.
is giving you the location as 16.
Okay. They are just giving us a hint only, right? Where the which line there it is. So from
Correct.
there we have to find out. So in here we saw three fields, and the DFDL. I mean we created only for two, and that is the reason we are getting error, right? So
Yes.
I thought it will show. I mean I thought after I mean after parsing means I thought it will parse this much. Then after that it is some error like that. So it is not
Uh-huh.
like that, isn't it?
No,
Okay.
it's
Okay.
based on the way the DFTL is created. What if you have used initiators, if you have used terminators, if you have used delimiters, if you have used assert logic, based on all this, the
Hmm.
parsing is decided. And even in parsing, it's a wide concept.
Okay.
There's around, mm, I think there's a parsing, what do you say, algorithms that you can define on your XML, that's XSD file. Based on all this, it will decide whether to first read the file and then look at the errors, or
Hmm.
first go through the file one by one.
Hmm.
So let's go to the DFTL now, and I'll try to explain if possible how it is doing it. Go to the DFTL, and then click on the what do you say? Click on test parse model. Yes. Click on OK. So here it's giving you a small description saying unexpected data found at 16, and after the parsing is completed.
Mhm.
But we need more information as to why this is occurring. So go click on test DFTL trace. It's
Test
at
DF.
the no, it's close this yellow box.
Oh, here, right. Okay.
Close the yellow box and test DFTL test trace.
Yeah.
So here it is going showing you the execution that it followed. So at 9:16:03, it used the XML file. It went through the first element. So it created Jeffen.
Where it is, I'm not seeing. Which line you're saying? The
The
yellow.
one in, see the unexpected non-postfix separator comma has occurred. Do you see that? Full screen this. Create double click on that and create move this into a full screen mode.
Okay.
All right. So in this, it is saying it tried to process the element subject
Okay.
first. So
Yeah.
that one was successful, and it found value as maths.
Okay.
Okay, the delimiter was comma.
Mm-hmm.
Next is what again it tried to look for something. What is that subject? And when it tried to look instead of name, when it tried to look for the subject, first it found the name as Matthew. Then it found the subject as maths.
Mm-hmm.
After this, we again found a subject once again.
Okay.
That is a non-postfix separator,
Okay.
which means non-postfix means at the end of the line, are we expecting any delimiter is what the it is asking.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a non-postfix separator. It is not expected here at line at offset number 28. Go to your file and see what do you see at offset 28.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's detailed instructions as to
Mm-hmm.
uh, how this TFTL trace, how this DFTL has gone through each record, and then how it has identified the error.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. All right. I'll stop this session now.
Yeah. Sure.